What's up, guys? Time to show off a couple builds. Haven't done a video in a minute, but these are a couple builds going over to Ken. Did some company builds for him to pass out, so hopefully you guys like them. So what we did first, had to take a little bit of imagery from his work van because we didn't have kind of an advertisement to work off of in a digital form. So my buddy over at, I don't even know how you pronounce it, Seconda Customs, did some screen printed dials. So he took the imagery from the side of the van and was able to screen print some dials. So we did circle pips in them that he backside loomed for me, and then we dropped him in a couple watches. So we did super similar watches, one going to Matt, one going to Caitlin. This is a brushed 350 case. It's a 41.5 millimeter case with 22 millimeter lugs. And then over here, I can't remember if this is an 020 or a 650. I'm pretty positive it's a 650 because I think the 020 has a curve, the case curve inside here. So it's a 650 brush case. I'm 99% positive, which is a slightly smaller case with 20 millimeter lugs. Did the builds identical. We've got a polished kind of a sawtooth bezel on both of them with a white diver ceramic insert. We did a C on the crown here. We did an M on the crown here. Both of these have brushed link bands with quick disconnect right here if you need to pop your band off. Exhibition casebacks, custom engraved clasps, and those are the builds. So obviously there's a white handset in there. These are called, if I recall, these are Ranger handsets with dirty yellow loom, and I thought that yellow went well just because we've got a little bit of this nice kind of orange color through here, and I thought that kind of goes well with it. Helps show off exactly where those hands are. And then to actually show them off, that is our loom on them. Show them both off here. These bands, these are just push pin. I will drop in something for that. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the recessed side. There's arrows on there. It tells you what way to hit them. And then you're going to put that, you'll be able to drop your punch down in there and tap that through. When you put it back, you just put it back in the same way. The folded over end is what you tap. The piece where it comes together, I'm sorry, that's what you're going to tap to get it out. You're going to tap it the other direction. Has a little line in there. It kind of looks like it's a flathead screwdriver, but that's not the case. That's just where the metal is folded back over on itself and slightly kind of flared. So on this side, you're just going to pop out that way. On this side, it's the exact opposite. So you'd pop one out here, pop one out there, combine those together, and feed it back through. And then you have your micro adjustment here. You can just use a little push pin, just walk it over to that one, then walk it over. Going from here to here, we'll do about a half a link for your adjustments. So bezel on this will go left, it'll go right. These are tension ring bezels. They are on decently tight. You not really going to move unless you want to move it. It's the same on both watches. This one's actually on there extra tight. It's the same bezel, fits the same area, but on her watch, it's really not going to move unless you want to really grab a hold of that thing. So yeah, it's destroyed my finger. Look at that. So good times. So you're not going to move that unless you want to. Automatic mechanical, so you can wind them, you can wear them, you can put them in a watch winder, but if it's dead or you're not going to be very active, make sure you wind it just a little bit before you put it on. You've got a rotor in the back, and as you can see, as you move, this rotor moves with you. And that's actually putting tiny winds on there. So don't just set the time and put it on. Wind it just a little bit, set the time, and then put it on. So how you do that is you're going to back the crown off the threads until you hear it and feel it clicking. It's going to come off, you're going to feel a little bit of play. You probably can't hear it clicking, but you'll feel the click. At that point you can wind. And a wind is a turn away from you. Turning it towards you doesn't wind it, but it is a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and go back and forth. If you do this for a few seconds before you put it on, that mixed with that rotor movement will keep your time throughout the day. And if you do this for about 10 seconds of rapid, you're going to max out your 31 plus hour power reserve on it. Meaning if you wound it up and you sat it down, setting the time, it will run for at least 31 hours without any additional help. Now if you're also wearing it, you're just continuing to keep it at that max power reserve. Whenever I wind these up and set them down, they run for somewhere in that 34 to 36 hours, but they're just considered 36. So when you're good with your winding, you're going to pull it out to the one and only click, and you can now set your time. It does not have a hacking movement, so it's going to keep going. You'll also notice you've got a wobble crown. This deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement, so when you're pushing and prying on this, you are not going to put any pressure on the keyless works or the movement itself. Okay, Google, what time is it? 7:24 p.m. So you're good. You're going to push it over, get it out of that time setting, and wind it down. This works exactly the same. And I built these, I got done with these like 3 in the morning, and they're still keeping perfect time. So these are ready to go. Same thing on winding it. Pull it to the one and only click. You can set your time. It was 7:24, pushing 7:25, so we'll just put it on 7:25 there. As with every build, you're going to get matching beads. Beads for this one are made slightly smaller, and we kept them with just the primary colors here, so that your pop-up color, where your eye goes to, will be the dial with your blue in there and your orange. And those are the builds. As with every build, you're going to get a custom box. You'll have some BVW boxes and some of my new pillows. You'll also have those, I'm going to put some sort of punch or something in there for you guys to adjust those bands, because this is going to be really big on your wrists. I think they're set up to like fit 8-inch wrists. So more often than not, you're at least going to take 3 out. I usually am taking 4 to 5 out. You're also going to get watch cleaner. This is good on all glass and metal. So this watch as a whole, non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue, as well as microfibers on each. And then you'll also have some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon, just repackaged. It's like Polywatch. It's for your acrylic glass because you can scratch it. But if you do, you'll put a tiny bit of this on it and you'll buff it out using your color matching microfiber. If the scratch is up and down, just go left and right, filling that scratch, haze it, buff it out. And if it's still there, wait a little bit and revisit it. Let that solidify on there. Shouldn't take too long. And then do it again. And that's it. Where the rest of the watch is concerned, other than the polished bezels, everything's brushed. The case, it's brushed in a circular pattern. So if you ever get a scratch in it, you're going to want to brush in a rounded direction with like the green side of a Scotch-Brite, and just go single passes. If you go back and forth, you start putting straight lines instead of a curved line. So just kind of follow around that, and you're just going to brush the scratch in. If you ever get it on any of these links, maybe if it's a link you can remove, you can always swap it out with one you've already taken out, or you can just take the same thing, the green side of the Scotch-Brite, kind of get it kind of by itself, and just go single passes. Just brush it in. If you go back and forth, you're going to start getting lines in it. So lines going the wrong direction. Same thing with the clasp. I always open this up, and I kind of pull this out to where it's by itself, and single pass this way. Then I get this by itself, and single pass just straight down. Kind of do this thing like, I don't do the whole thing. I'm kind of just hitting like a quarter of it at a time and just going down through with that green side. This is a double lock clasp. If you don't know, pushing it back on will kind of work, but often you can just squeeze it. That's how you get it off. When you squeeze back here, it opens. So then it releases the knob part that's up in there. And then the second is a lock that holds over top of that. So you just flip that up, squeeze this. See, if you push on there real tight, you can do it without squeezing this. You're just forcing it in is essentially what you're doing. But those are the two builds. Ken, I appreciate you a ton. Thank you for trusting me to do a couple watches for you. And that's it. These came together pretty nicely, pretty smoothly. So if you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.